I was in Florida recently at a supermarket called Publix. Have you guys heard of it? Yeah, there's some white trash in here tonight, boy. Publix does this funny little thing where they keep a gigantic scale in the front of the store, fat-shaming all of the customers. So I'm walking out of Publix with my mother and my girlfriend, 2 women. And my mother sees the scale. She says, "Michael, I'm going to check my weight." She hands me her purse. She hands me her items. She goes and checks her weight. She comes off. My girlfriend sees it. She says, "I'm going to check my weight." Hands me her purse, hands me her items, goes and checks her weight. And that's women's rights. Women have the right to check their weight in Publix. But to everybody else in the supermarket, it just looked like I came there to weigh my women. Mike Vecchione. No big deal. I'm a stand-up comedian. That's my job. My passion? My passion is coming to towns like this to talk to low-income whites about vaccinations. That's my passion. It's my passion. I love sitting eye to eye with the low-income whites of towns like this and just hashing it out about the vaccine. Where do you find the low-income whites of this great country of ours? 2 words: Waffle House. Waffle House seems to be a headquarters for the low-income whites. Or if you're in the middle of the country, it's called a Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrels are just upscale Waffle Houses. We're in Nashville. You have Waffle Houses and Cracker Barrels. Can you say sweet spot? What's your mindset when you go to a Cracker Barrel? I want the unhealthiest food sold in public, but I still want to impulse buy a rocking chair. Where can I do it? Does such a place exist? It does. It's called the Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrels are closing. Sorry, whites. Sorry, whites. Cracker Barrels are closing. Sorry, whites. I'm sorry, whites. But so are Red Lobsters. Sorry, blacks. Sorry, blacks. I'm sorry, blacks. That joke works better if there's more blacks in the room. Maybe someday, right, Nashville? We don't have Waffle Houses in the north where I live. I live in New York City. We have Starbucks. And I don't like Starbucks. I don't like the pretentious energy in Starbucks. You walk in, everybody's on their laptop. I guess writing their screenplay. You know what I think they're doing? I think they're laundering money. Something borderline illegal. So I walk past the pretentious people and I wait in line for the bathroom because I'm in my 50s. And that's what you do when you're in your 50s. You use the bathroom every place that you go. That's less of a joke, more of a medical fact. I don't know how it is here, but the Starbucks in New York, someone's always in the bathroom for a long time. It's one guy. He's really in there. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he's in there real good. I can tell you that. He's living his best life. I don't know if he's finishing college or starting a podcast, but he's in there. He's in there real good. And just when I think he's coming out, water starts coming from underneath the door, indicating that he's not coming out anytime soon. The last time I was at Starbucks, I was waiting in line for the bathroom. The man in front of me had a dog that was wearing a sweater. I hate it. It's so condescending. The dog looked like he went to a better college than I did. It looks like he could bite somebody and he's already dressed for court. The line's taking too long. I exit the line, and now I'm waiting in the line for coffee, which is also very long, but it's moving, and I eventually get to the front, and the girl with the purple hair goes to take my order, and I go, medium black coffee, nothing in it. She goes, don't you mean grande? I said, miss, I don't think it's the right time to be teaching me Italian. There's a man swimming in your bathroom. None of this is the case at the Waffle House. I went to my first Waffle House last year on the road in Mississippi. First of all, I love the name, Waffle House. House is in the name. It's very welcoming. And it's ironic because everyone in the Waffle House looks like they live in their car. I'm talking Waffle House now. I live in New York City. First Waffle House, Mississippi. I walk in, I'm wearing a shirt with sleeves, so I was overdressed. I go to the bathroom. There's no code on the door of the bathroom at the Waffle House like at Starbucks. There's no door on the bathroom of the Waffle House. Come and go as you please. Little thing called freedom you might have read about in your history books. I finish my business and I'm walking back to my table, and it's Mississippi. I'm looking at the back of people's heads, and it's mullet, mullet, head injury. Mullet, mullet, head injury. Mullet, mullet, head injury. Mullet, mullet. I get back to my table, and that waitress is a talker. OMG. I knew everything about her in a couple of minutes. Mother of 5, all cesarean. I know that because she showed me the scar as I was eating. Things move quickly at the Waffle House, guys. 1 minute you're discussing menu options. The next minute you're running your finger along a cesarean scar of a woman you just met. 3 of the 5 kids she had during the lunch rush at that Waffle House. The other 2 she had in a bathtub full of moonshine. Mississippi baptism. She's telling me about her life. Turns out she had just gone through a painful divorce. She was married to her cousin. Get off your high horse, Nashville. It's Mississippi. People marry their cousins. And I have empathy for that, because if you're dating your cousin, you kind of have to marry your cousin. Because how do you break up with your cousin? What do you even say? Look, I just want to be family. She starts to tear up talking about her divorce, and I'm compassionate, so I reach up, I touch her face, I wipe away her tear, and I remember I said to her, I said, Scalene? That was her name, Scalene, named after the white trash of all the triangles. I said, Scalene, you did the right thing by getting them youngins as kids, out of that toxic relationship. And out of my peripheral, which is a word they don't understand in Mississippi, I see a man choking. He's a big redneck, no disrespect. And out of instinct, I yell, is there a doctor here? Not realizing that I'm at a Waffle House. Probably not a doctor at a Waffle House. Now I looked at the people's faces and I thought to myself, more a chance of a doctor than a dentist. No one has teeth in Mississippi. Are you guys gonna get these jokes or no? So I think to myself, Michael, you graduated from high school. You're the closest thing to a doctor at this Waffle House. You gotta do something. So I start to make my move. He's a big redneck, he's choking, I'm coming from behind him. I don't want to startle him, but I know I'm in the South, so I get close and I whisper in his ear, I whisper, I'm white. I lock my hands and I start the Heimlich maneuver, which is gay marriage in Mississippi, and Someone starts recording it with their phone, I assume for Pornhub, and after about 15 thrusts, which is what I'm good for, piece of Scrapple shoots out of his mouth and hits another man in the face, also named Scrapple. Scrapple Jenkins, he was the sheriff. So I head back to my table and I'm sitting there contemplating the meaning of life, and my waitress, Scalene, she comes walking towards me and I notice she's limping, and we're friends at this point, so I call out to her. I say, "Scalene, baby girl, do you got the scoliosis?" She said, "No, Ferris wheel accident." Did you guys know Mississippi is 50th in education, but number 1 in Ferris wheel accidents? It's the silent killer. There's 2 types of people in Mississippi: people who've been injured in a Ferris wheel accident and people who will be injured in a Ferris wheel accident. It's an epidemic. Anyway. My point is, the food at the Waffle House, delish. Deep fried, soaked in lard. It's like a menu full of last meals that you would eat before you went to the electric chair. Now, the electric chair is a punchline to me because I live in the north. But the people of Mississippi, it's a real consequence. And I did some research on the electric chair because I knew I was headed to a death penalty state. Do you guys know in the early models of the electric chair, there were no straps on the electric chair? It's true. And that was problematic because people being executed would just get up. They would just get up and go to another chair that was not electric. If I was being executed, I'd want to stand out. I'd put kernels of corn in my pocket. Then after the execution, they would go into my pockets and find what? A healthy snack. And they would be like, "This guy did a lot of terrible things, but he's pretty fun. This guy was fun." After my research, I'm certain that I can beat the electric chair. I can beat the electric chair. When they sentence you to the electric chair, it's 20 years before they execute you with all the appeals and whatnot. Every day in my cell for 20 years, what would I be doing? Praying? I don't think so. Writing a letter to the governor? Not likely. Every day in my cell for 20 years, I would be, look at me, incrementally electrocuting myself. Every day, a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Then on execution day, I would be confident to the point of being arrogant. Because they would be like, "Do you have any last words?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I will beat your electric chair. I will beat your electric chair." I got out of jury duty recently. And what you have to do to get out of jury duty, I've got it down to a system now. You have to non-verbally show them that you have terrible judgment. So the first day of jury duty, I walk in, parachute pants, O.J. Simpson jersey, ready to serve, found not guilty. As soon as I get to the courthouse, I say as loud as possible, "Wow, I haven't been to a government building since January 6th. J6, white man's new year." Then there's a metal detector. Always bring a weapon. I brought my nunchucks. I was doing my nunchucks. I took my nunchucks. He said, "You'll get them at the end of the day." I was furious. I said, maybe if Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson would have had a pair of these, they wouldn't have been killed by drug dealers. I was in Las Vegas performing. And I gotten triggered, which is a word kids are using now, because growing up, my father had a gambling problem. He lost our house when I was 11. But he didn't come home and say, I lost the house. He came home and said, Mike, how would you like to go camping forever? That's what he called it when he lost, camping forever. There's no help for gamblers. There's one sign as you drive into Las Vegas. It says, gambling problem? Please call this number. That's ineffective. It should at least say, gambling problem? I bet you won't call this number. That would be more effective because these people have a gambling problem. I had gotten food poisoning in Las Vegas, and as you guys know, there are no doctors in Las Vegas, so I had to go to a magician. And he refused to help me because he was sawing a woman in half, which I think is wrong, ladies. Women are people. They don't deserve to be sawed in half, I'll tell you that much. Do you feel like sawing them in half sometimes? Sure you do. Sure you do, but you don't do it. You talk to them. You go to counseling. You don't just saw them in half. Just once I would like to see a woman saw a man in half, ladies, and really do it. And really do it. And really do it. Not just financially, like in a divorce. Women's rights. No, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna go there. Stop looking at me sideways. Oh, Mike, don't talk about it. No, I'm gonna talk women's rights. I will march. Women can do anything a man can do. I'm always saying that. One of my misogynistic friends called me out. He said, can they build cars? I said, yes, women can build cars. Because I was in a car recently, passenger seat, and I didn't have my seatbelt on. And the car kept beeping and 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 beeping until I finally put that seatbelt on, and then the car shut up. I thought to myself, this car was built by a woman. The girl I'm marrying is from the Middle West. I've learned a lot about people from the Middle West since we've been together. For example, people from the Middle West tend to keep their feelings inside. That's what I've learned. Until you leave dishes in the sink overnight. Then people from the Middle West act a lot like people from the Middle East. Impulsive, violent and impulsive. From your reaction to that joke, I can tell you want me to talk politics. I think it just might bring us together. I'll tell you where I am politically. Full transparency. I'm not a morning person, so I'm pretty conservative first thing in the morning. But I get more liberal as the day goes on. But first thing, I hit that alarm clock with my gun. And I am ready to give anybody and everybody the death penalty. Death penalty. And if I don't give you the death penalty, I will frack. I will do fracking. I will frack, death penalty, and then I will frack anything that's not nailed down. I will do fracking all over it. I will frack. I will do fracking, tax breaks for the rich, death penalty, and fracking. But by 6 p.m., I'll be honest with you, I'm ready to go to a drag show at an elementary school. Open the borders, free college for everyone. By 9 p.m., I don't know my gender. I'm ready to sleep. I haven't been watching the news. I didn't watch any of the debates. I'm gonna watch them the way God intended all of us to watch them. On TikTok being lip-synced by a dog. I hate war. I think war is terrible. But I do think the winner of the Russian-Ukraine conflict should then have to fight the winner of Israel-Palestine. And the loser should have to fight for third. Are you guys watching the Koreas? Are you guys even following the Koreas? North Korea just sent South Korea a hot air balloon full of garbage. Now that's not nice, but that's not war. The Koreas are doing high school pranks on each other. I can't wait to see how South Korea responds. I hope they steal North Korea's mascot. I miss El Chapo. El Chapo got framed. Hear me out on this. He had nothing to do with drugs. The government hated him because he was a short king, like me. And the government hates the short kings. The government loves tall people. The government hates the short kings because we can tunnel everywhere. And the government can't keep track of us when we're tunneling. Do you guys even remember El Chapo? We put him in jail, he'd tunnel out. We put him back in jail, he'd tunnel out. He was like a little Mexican groundhog. If he could have predicted the weather, he'd be free today. That's a fact. Now I'm just talking in facts. Is it better that El Chapo is in prison forever? I think not, because now his metrosexual son runs everything. El Chapstick. Are there any Gen Zs in the crowd? Gen Zs. You guys look pretty young, but not young enough to be Gen Zs. But there has to be one amongst you. Can't see you, you're in the back. Well, I have to give you a trigger warning for what I'm about to say next. According to the laws of Gen Z, I'm required to give you a trigger warning to prevent a trauma. I'm serious. When you hear what I have to say, you're gonna want to go outside and vape. I was fat shamed by my doctor. There it is. Fat shamed by my doctor. I'm 5'8", 195 pounds, solid steel sex appeal. You know what my doctor said to me? He said, Michael, you're obese. I said, Doc, the correct terminology is Italian American. That's what we like to be called now, Italian American. I'm very thin for an Italian American, dare I say frail. And I'm very tall. I could play professional basketball in Italy. How dare you? He said, no, Michael, obesity is a medical term. He showed me on a chart. It was a pie chart, which is a slap in the face. Shows somebody that they're fat on their favorite food. He goes, Mike, you should be 5'8", 160. I said, Doc, if an Italian guy comes in here 5'8", 160, look at me. He's sick. He's sick or his mother hates him. Thought about Ozempic, but I don't trust it. I don't trust any weight loss drug that sounds like the name of a diner in Queens. Mungia, that's the other weight loss drug. That sounds like the Italian word for let's eat. And I'm not going on a diet either. I'm probably gonna go to Plan B, and that's move to a fatter city. I'll just move to a fatter city. They list the fattest cities in the newspaper, and I'll pick one, and I'll move. Because I'm obese in Miami, but I'm a model in Minneapolis. I'm a model. I'm a model. I turned 50, and I'm getting ready for my colonoscopy. I'm on the gurney, anesthesiologist comes in. He said, look, we're gonna administer a drug called propofol. It's gonna put you to sleep pretty quickly. Bell goes off in my head. I go, propofol is the drug that killed Michael Jackson. That's true. He goes, what's your point? I said, my point is this drug obviously kills people with talent. So I'm very nervous. Then he got defensive. He goes, Michael Jackson abused it. I go, whoa, somebody's a Prince fan. That was the whole thing in the 80s, Gen Z, Michael Jackson versus Prince. But my girl is younger. You know, I love her. Don't understand what she's talking about a lot of times. For a while, she was just saying, when we first got together, she was saying, you got me at a discount. You got me at a discount. I don't know what that means. I had to look it up. It means she was going through a tough time when we got together, or else I wouldn't have been able to get with her. But she just kept saying it. You got me at a discount. You got me at a discount. Finally, I was like, I'm about to take you back to the store. Trade you in for a quieter model. She wanted me to go vegan. I go, which one is that? She said, no meat, no fish, no eggs, no cheese. I said, why don't you save me some time and tell me what you can eat? She said, a lot of greens, a lot of grains, a lot of seeds. I said, well, that sounds like a living nightmare. To quote the Gen Zs, I was throwing mad shade. Yeah, no, it was lit. It was straight fire, it was lit. You guys don't get what we're doing. The rest of you guys are sus. I said, baby doll, you have to remember, I grew up in the 1980s. Not only did we eat meat, we would eat meat and yell, where's the beef, at each other. We thought that was hilarious for 10 years. Where's the beef, we would scream as we were shoving gobs of meat into our face. And my girl said something pretty hurtful to me. She said, people from your generation seem pretty dumb. I said, is that so? Because I could pull up 5 people your age on my phone who were killed because they were trying to take a selfie with a bear. Oh, Snapchat! What about you guys, huh? Hunker down, which is a phrase you probably use. Is there rural jokes? Are you guys parents? Do you have kids? Yes. Yes. I have a word for you, parents. Hero. You guys are heroes. And I'm not just pandering. I'm saying that because there's no way to discipline these kids anymore. Everything is illegal. Think about it. You can't shake them. You go to jail for that. Leave them in a hot car. You'll make the newspaper. Leave them alone. They eat Tide Pods. I read that one. I was like, our kids are getting dumber. They're eating laundry detergent. Then I did my laundry with Tide Pods. Can I be honest with you? I almost ate one. Have you seen Tide Pods recently? They look delicious. It looks like a gelato that can clean your clothes. I think Tide is willfully trying to kill our children at this point. That's why when people ask me, are you pro-life or pro-choice? I just go, roll Tide. Maybe we should be letting our kids eat Tide Pods. Then when they get older, they won't be so freaked out by gluten. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've offended the gluten-free crowd, but I am pro-gluten. I love it. I'd bathe in it if I could. I was dating a woman. She said, let's go gluten-free, healthy lifestyle. I said, do you have any idea who you're dating? I'm 100% Italian. Our entire culture is based on gluten and getting others to eat gluten for some reason and flipping out if they don't eat gluten. What am I supposed to tell my 82-year-old mother when we go to visit her and she tries to feed us? She goes, just tell her we are now gluten-free. I said, oh, okay. Why don't I also tell her that we both hate Jesus? Watch an 82-year-old woman try to hang herself with a rosary. Is this fun for you? Are you having a good time right now? But what is gluten, some of you who never went to college are asking? Gluten is a protein that holds your food together, and I love eating together food. We would all be eating crumbs if it wasn't for our good friend gluten. But whatever is good is now bad. What's bad is now good, according to the mainstream media. I was in the supermarket recently, gluten-free section, enemy territory as I call it. And I grab one of the low-income whites that works there. And I go, look, if they're taking gluten out, what are they putting in? You know what she said to me? Asbestos. Asbestos is actually good for you now, she exclaimed. There's a lot of readers here tonight. You know who feels the way that I do about gluten? Indian people. I love my Indian brothers and sisters, and I love their food. And I took this girl who wanted me to go gluten-free to an Indian restaurant, and for her, I asked the waiter, does this dish have gluten in it? He looked at me, he goes, gluten? That's gonna be the least of your problems. Have you had our food? It's 4,000 degrees. It's gonna torch your entire digestive system. At the end of the meal, you're gonna be praying for gluten. We broke up right after that meal. We broke up. If only we would have had something to keep us together. Maybe some sort of protein. This is a great crowd. This is miles from where I started. I started as the lead singer of a Christian rock band called Leprosy. Band fell apart after the second album. I actually like Christian rock. I like it. Little Jesus heavy for me. I'm pro-Jesus, but not every song has to be about Jesus, you know? Other stuff happened in the Bible. How about some Old Testament Christian rock? How about a song called, Oh My God, There's a Flood? Where's that song? Everybody I ever met just drowned. Except my neighbor who built a boat for some reason. Won't let me on. Borrowed my lawnmower 2 months ago. Won't let me on his boat. Says there's no room. But I just watched 2 zebras walk on board. 2 zebras. I've been flying a lot, and I find the further you sit from first class, the worse you've done in your life. People in first class are doing wealthy people activities, reading the Wall Street Journal, watching golf on their iPads. By the time you get to basic economy where I sit, there's needles rolling around on the ground. People are shooting dice. It's a bad area back there. Near the bathrooms, you don't want to be there after dark. I hate the pilot on every flight now. I hate him. He always says the same thing. Buckle up, everybody. We're going to be encountering some rough air. Are we? Are we going to be encountering rough air, or are you going to be flying directly into it? Take some responsibility, dude. You know about the rough air because you're making this announcement. What do you say we jack this puppy up to 40,000 feet and fly, I don't know, above the rough air? Just a suggestion from basic economy. Guys, these aren't just airplane jokes. I take them personal. As a man who used to pretend to be a pilot on dating sites, I take these jokes very, very personal. If I was the pilot, I'd play it different. I'd let the turbulence happen, and then I come on, I go, I'm sorry about that, everybody. Someone did not set their phone to airplane mode. We almost died. We almost died, because one of you is a toxic narcissist. If I was the pilot, I'd let the turbulence happen, and then I'd come on, I go, I'm sorry about that, everybody. Full transparency, I fell asleep for 10 minutes. Kicked it over to the co-pilot, but he's got really bad ADHD. We've been following a bird for the past half hour. This guy doesn't get it. He shouldn't be up here. I was in the airport. They made 2 announcements. The first announcement was this: you're entitled to 2 bags on your flight, a personal item and a carry-on. If you have 3 or more bags, you need to start consolidating them right now or we will not let you on the plane. That was the first announcement. The second announcement was this: be aware of human trafficking. I was like, oh my God, that was a huge jump in responsibility between announcements. I was just wrapping my head around consolidating my bags from 3 to 2, and then boom, I'm responsible for human trafficking. Am I responsible for human trafficking? I'm a stand-up comedian. I thought that was the job of the FBI. But I guess if you make it through TSA now, you're responsible for human trafficking. So let me get this straight. You don't trust me with more than 8 ounces of liquids. But you're trusting me to stop human trafficking. I have to leave a full shampoo in every town that I go to. But you want me to stop human trafficking. But what is human trafficking, I ask myself. The answer is I don't know. But using my elementary school context clues, I would say it's smuggling a person. And I don't know how you would do that if you have to consolidate 3 bags into 2 bags, and there's a live human being in one of those bags. It seems like it would work itself out mathematically. So I go on YouTube. YouTube is a valuable resource if you don't know something. And I punch in human trafficking, and a video comes up of a man and a woman talking to each other in harsh tones. So I was on the lookout. And I saw it right in front of me at the airport, a man and a woman talking to each other in harsh tones, just like on the video. And I thought to myself, this is either human trafficking or every relationship I've ever seen at the airport. So I confront. I'm a little bit of a hero. I'm vaccinated. I go, excuse me, is this human trafficking? And the guy goes, are you a cop? And I go, I'll ask the questions, pal, okay? Because that's something a cop would say. I'm not a cop, but I'm an actor. And I played a lot of cops. That's something a cop would say. He goes, it's not human trafficking. We're reading a script. I produce all the Law and Order SVUs in New York. I go, well, that's crazy, because I'm an available actor. He said, you have a great look for the show. I said, thank you. He said, why don't you take my card? We're looking at people next week. Come to this location on Wednesday, and we'll audition you. And that's the story of how I was human trafficked. They will offer you fake acting work just to human traffic you. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, Mike, what's the difference between human trafficking and sex trafficking? That's easy. Sex trafficking is if you're hot. So if they were like, Mike, we're gonna human traffic you, I'd be like, are you sure it's not sex trafficking for me? What if I lost 10 pounds? Would it be sex trafficking? For those of you not laughing, I'm just trying to raise some awareness. I'm raising awareness. Don't hate me for raising awareness. I was in Boston a few weeks ago, and look, I'm not going to sit up here and defend the Boston Strangler. But have you had to listen to that accent for 2 days in a row? I want to choke every last one of them. But what if there was a serial killer on the loose, a strangler, if you will, but he was only killing people who snored? We'd have to act like we wanted to get him. We're like, oh, he's killing our best people. We gotta get him. But we would drag our feet, at least until we all got a good night's rest. as a country. Let me tell you why that joke is funny. It's funny because we all have people that we love, I mean really adore, who snore, that we thought about doing a first-degree murder to. We've thought about ending their lives, and we love them. We've thought about suffocating them to death. But if you really think about it, God already started suffocating them. You would just be helping God. I'm not gonna sit up here and say you're doing the Lord's work, but you would be helping God. Then I went to Texas. Anybody here from Texas? Yes. Back me up here. In Texas, they have entire stores dedicated to being a cowboy. There's nothing to compare it to in the North. It's like walking into a store and then walking out a first responder. Doesn't happen. They have cowboy stores in Texas. So I walk in and a sheriff approaches me. Everybody looks like a sheriff in a cowboy store. And he says, "Can I help you?" And I'm a comic first, so I was like, "I want you to show me a belt that I could use to discipline a child." He didn't skip a beat. He's like, "Is it a small offense or a big offense?" We have thin belts if he didn't go to Bible camp, and we have thicker belts if he joined a militia. You know, Texas crimes. And then I got distracted by a cowboy hat. Oh my God. I put it on, I love it. I don't know where I'm gonna wear it in New York, but I put it on and it felt right. Yeah, I bought it, walked out with it, changed my pronouns to he and ha, and I got out of there. Then from there, I went to Utah. Have you guys ever been? You've been to Utah? Utah is like Atlanta for white people. Does that make sense? It's our Atlanta. I thought there was going to be a lot of Italians in this town that I went to in Utah because the town was called Provo, which I thought was short for provolone. They're big on marriage there. They marry a lot of people. They marry a lot. And I think that's the question in all of our lives, marriage or no. You know who never got married? Benito Mussolini. The fascist dictator of Italy during World War II. He had a girlfriend. And that's significant because he committed himself to evil and he committed himself to taking over the world. But when it came to marriage, he thought to himself, that's a little risky. Why don't we just take it slow? I'm not gonna call her my wife, I'm gonna call her my partner. I like the way that sounds. Partner. Feels like you're fighting crime together. It's easier to explain if you get a divorce. What happened to your partner? She got transferred. She got transferred to another jurisdiction. Anybody married? Yes. It's Nashville. It's the South. You guys are married. Did you do your own vows? Yes. I say yes. Because the vows on the books are too extreme. In sickness and in health, what if she's not sick? And what if she's not healthy? What if she's just always complaining that she's cold? I think that's grounds for an annulment. I could be like, Your Honor, I was under the impression I was marrying a warm-blooded mammal. Apparently reptilia over here is freezing when it's 100. Me and my girl have been together for a while, and initiating physical intimacy can be tough sometimes. You know, there's an element of rejection there, and I'm a performer. I have an ego. So what I started doing when I initiate physical intimacy is calling my private area the cops. So it's usually first thing in the morning, and I'll shake her, and I'll be like, babe, the cops are here. And she'll know what I'm doing, and she'll be like, I don't want to talk to the cops right now. And I'll be like, but they have a couple of questions. It won't take long. Then she gets more emphatic. I'm not talking to the cops. I'm like, but they have a warrant. We got engaged. I live in Manhattan, so what I did for the engagement, to buy the ring, I went to a fancy place in Brooklyn. That's what you do when you love somebody. You go into back-breaking debt. Go into the place in Brooklyn. The woman immediately starts talking down to me, so I knew I was in the right spot. She said, there's a new diamond on the market. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called lab-created diamond. I said, yeah, I think I have heard of it. When I was coming up, it was just called fake. She got mad at me. She said, it's not fake, it's lab-created. I said, baby doll, I don't know that much about diamonds, but I know real diamonds are created in the earth by time and pressure. Time and pressure. Ironically, the two things that take down most marriages. She said, with lab-created diamonds, no one gets tortured. I said, does that include the people who have to listen to this explanation? Because this is hard to get through. Turns out natural diamonds, which is what the real ones are called now, when they're mined, it destroys animals' ecosystems, and the animals have nowhere to live. That's what she told me. I said, baby girl, if I bring home a fake diamond, I'm getting kicked out. I'm gonna have nowhere to live. Better the animals than me. And since that time, because I travel a lot, once in a while I'll see a bird in an airport. Now when I see that, I think to myself, somewhere a man bought his lady a natural diamond, and now that bird has nowhere to live. Yet at other times in my travels, I'll see a man sleeping in an airport. Now when I see that, I think to myself, that guy got his lady a lab-created diamond, and he now lives in the airport. Finally, she had enough with me, and she said, lab-created diamonds are better for the world. I said, but are they? Is this how we should be using our labs? I figure we use our labs to cure disease, not so that Tabitha can feel like a queen. My uncle's got diabetes. Maybe we should look into that with our labs. No, I'm serious, guys. He's got the sugars. He's got the sugars real bad, which is what my black friends call diabetes. She finally convinced me to buy a lab-created diamond, but your boy's not stupid, so I paid with counterfeit money. Lab-created. That's what I'm gonna tell the judge. I was trying to get real ID before I came here. I keep threatening us with real ID. You're not gonna be able to fly unless you get real ID. What they don't tell you is you don't have enough old ID to qualify for real ID. Because I was like, social security card. She was like, what else? I was like, birth certificate. She's like, do you have your umbilical cord? I'm not a fan of the DMV. They're pretty casual about asking for all of your organs. You figure if an organization wants your organs, they would butter you up a little bit. That's not the way the DMV plays it. They don't even ask you in person. They ask you on a form, and it's not even number 1. It's number 16. So you get in the rhythm of the form, and then out of nowhere they go, would you like to give us all of your organs? What do you say you just give us all of your organs? And I'm like, I thought this was about driving. They're like, yeah, but if the driving doesn't work out, what do you say you just give us all of your organs? So I want to feel like a good person, so I checked, yes, you can have all of my organs. But then I sat down, I thought to myself, where's my self-worth? This organization treats me like hot garbage, and I'm giving them all of my organs. So I thought about it, and I found a pen, and I crossed off yes, and I wrote, nope, not today. Because I saw a woman in an airport who had a shirt that said that, and I thought to myself, no one's taking her organs. Because it's my body, and it's my choice. And I sat there comfortable in my decision. But then the woman who called me up was very sweet. She said, you have a great haircut. I said, you know what, girl? You just got yourself a spleen. I had actors' health insurance for a while because my friend put me in his movie and I did some TV stuff. And the thing with actors' insurance is if you book a lot of acting work, you get actors' health insurance. But if you do not book a lot of acting work, you do not get actors' health insurance. So the auditions are pretty high stakes because you're auditioning for your health insurance. I think they should just make it a reality show. I already have a name for it. Do you guys want to hear it? So you think you can live? So I lost my insurance. I figured no problem. I'm Catholic. I'll just go to a Catholic hospital. I get to the Catholic hospital. You know what the guy says? Proof of insurance? I go, oh, no problem. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Hit him with the Lord's Prayer. Now I'm in the worst situation. I have to pay the most money for the worst insurance. It's the New York marketplace. I'm paying the most money for the worst insurance. I don't know what my plan is called. I think it's called We Don't Cover That. It's so funny to hear the doctor's office backpedal when they hear my insurance. Like, oh, he's not taking new patients. He's actually not practicing anymore. He's sick himself. He's sick. So I go back to my insurance company. I said, none of your doctors will take your insurance. And they go, have you ever thought about telehealth? I go, that's over the phone? They said, yes. Because there was a time before I was around that the doctor would come to your home. Those were called house calls. Then during my time, you would go to the doctor's office, and that was called an office visit. Now I guess we're just gonna do this over the phone. So I'm at my telehealth appointment on hold. And a voice comes in and says, you've been waiting a long time. Would you like a texting option? I'm like, how informal are we gonna make this? I'm just in my bed at 2 a.m. texting what I think is my doctor. Yo, dog, you up? Yo, dog, chest pains. Yo, dog, having chest pains. Yo, fam, my arm tingling. My arm tingling, fam. Shortness of breath, fam. I didn't like the doctor's office when I had health insurance because I was cocky, you know? You get health insurance, you get arrogant. I just walk into the doctor's office, I go, Mike Vecchione here for my 315. She'd be like, sign in. I go, but I just told you all the information. Mike Vecchione here for my 315. She said, you have to sign in. When you sign in, there's a place for your name, and there's a place, time of appointment, time of arrival. And I guess if the doctor sees that you're late, he does an intrusive, unnecessary examination to punish you. So I'm arguing with the lady, and I'm like, I just told you the information. She said, if you don't sign in, you cannot see the doctor. So I wrote my name, and next to time of arrival and time of appointment, I just wrote, I'm bleeding. My primary care physician is now my chiropractor. I like him better. There's no forms to fill out. You walk in, he just puts you in a headlock. He asks you questions while he's wrestling you to the ground. I like that. Blue-collar doctor, chiropractor. The only bad thing about a chiropractor is you can't sue him for malpractice because the entire thing is malpractice. Well, probably after this, you guys are hot, so you're probably headed to an after party. I'm in my 50s, so I'm gonna go to a CVS. That's how I kick it now, CVS. Get some fish oil. Omega-3s, I don't know how you guys get your omega-3s, I go fish oil. I don't know how things are here in Nashville, but in New York City, CVS's are maximum security prisons. Everything is locked up. Everything is locked up. You have to hit a doorbell to have an associate open a shelf. Pretty high security these days at the CVS, guys. But then there's self-checkout, which seems like a huge hole in the CVS security model. They're very stringent until you get the item in your hands. Then it's up to you whether you want to pay for it or not. They lock up the fish oil. Should be locking up the baby oil, right? Diddy? P. Diddy. P. Diddy. P. Diddy. Freak off. Freak off. Freak off, baby oil. How much baby oil do you have to buy before it's a red flag? He bought like 3,500 bottles of baby oil. CVS was like, as long as he's not stealing anything, we're good. He could be human trafficking in aisle 8. They're just worried about shoplifting at CVS. They're very worried. And they should be worried because you can't tackle a shoplifter anymore. It's illegal. You have to de-escalate them. What's that look like at CVS? Sir, put down the Just for Men. Sir, you don't have to do this. You could age naturally. I'm at CVS and I'm trying to get that fish oil now, and I'm hitting that doorbell. I'm hitting that doorbell like a Jehovah's Witness, trying to get the fish oil. One time for 20 minutes. The associate showed up, and I was like, did you come from home? Was this ringing your doorbell at home? He opened it. It was the last bottle of fish oil. I reach for it. Another man over 50 comes over the top. He reaches for it. We're both clasping it. How do you solve that? How do you settle it? Pickleball. Exactly. Pickleball. Two aging whites grabbing at the same fish oil bottle? That's a pickleball match where I come from. That's pickleball. That's a pickleball match. Let me explain something to you good rural folk. Pickleball was invented by the whites. When the whites get pushed out of a mainstream sport, like tennis, by black people and other ethnics, we do not leave easily. We invent a new sport, almost exactly the same, with slightly different rules, so that we can once again become champions. Let's talk marriage. Is marriage 50-50 like everybody says? No. The marriages that last are never 50-50. The marriages that last are a combination of two types of people. One person who is boring with another person who is crazy. Boring and crazy is the only combination that seems to work. I've done the math on this. Two borings won't work. They'll cheat on each other, not enough excitement. Two crazies won't work because that's the show Cops. Have you ever seen the show Cops? I think it's back on the air. I got all kinds of friends now, single, married, divorced. I got one friend, he got married, divorced, remarried the same woman. I talked to him a few days ago. He said, I'm depressed. I'm like, why are you depressed? He said, I'm having marital problems. I'm like, dude, you're not having marital problems. You have a learning disability. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for making my night and making my special. Such a great crowd. Such a great crowd. You guys are the best. I love you. Have a great night. Thank you.